Solicits. So we have April 2022 Solicits for DC Comics. Pretty interesting month for a few reasons. So we'll work through just the order around here in the article. This is the Newsarama Solicits article. So yeah, let's get into this then. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily start with the headline stuff per se. It actually starts with all the issues from the Shadow War crossover. So Batman issue 122, Deathstroke Inc. issue 8, Robin issue 13 make up the remainder of that crossover. Is that all of it, I think? Maybe? Or is there one more part left?
Batman, Robin.
It doesn't say that it's the ending of it. So...
Yeah, maybe there's one more part of it then. Because I can't remember what the list of the books were.
I think it's got an Omega issue, maybe. I think it had an Alpha and it has an Omega.
So maybe the Omega issue still be solicited for May, and that'll.
I think so. Yeah.
That'll wrap it up. That would make some sense. Yeah. So I mean, obviously this is something we're all at least reading 2 of these books, if not all 3. So. Yeah, we'll see how it is and go from there. I don't have much to add. Next up, though, we have Batman Beyond Neo Year issue 1. This is a new 6-issue miniseries by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing writing, with art by Max Dunbar.
We knew this was coming at some point. They did the story in Urban Legends, and at the end of it, it announced this title would be coming at some point this year. So it was just a matter of when. And I guess what specifically the story is, but to be honest, I have no attachment to Batman Beyond enough to ever read it.
Yeah. I mean, I like it well enough, but I'm not necessarily wanting more and more comics of it. Like I'm good.
Yeah,
nice covers though. I'll give it that.
Sure. Batman Killing Time issue 2, Tom King, David Marquez. So this is the miniseries that's starting the month prior. So not much we can say about it yet. A very nice cover though there.
Yeah.
But even the other cover that's there is also quite nice, and the Riddler cover's not bad. I mean, I'm not surprised, but this has some nice covers, but it does.
Yeah.
So here's some good news actually. Next up on here, so Detective Comics 1059. So this is post the weekly, period, right? Post the event series, and Tamaki is still on the book, which I am surprised by.
Right.
Only as a co-writer though. So and it says Nadia Shamas is a guest co-writer.
Oh, okay.
It says it in the solicit text. So I'm not sure if that means this is Tamaki just maybe needs a bit of time because of doing the weekly 12 issues was a bit of a burnout, and it's okay. Here's some plot. Can you go and script a couple of issues for me for this arc while I get back ahead, or if it's more of going to be a transition to someone else.
It could be that. I mean, since it doesn't list any other writers, like I assume one of them is doing the backup.
I would assume so. No, backup written by Cedar Grace
is doing the backup.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, maybe it's just a case of like giving her some help, or maybe it is a transitionary period. Who knows? We are getting Gotham Girls stuff in this new story.
Yeah, apparently going to Arkham Tower. So however that story ends, it seems like they're still going to be doing Arkham Tower stories.
She's got a new look, judging by that cover. She's got like a shorter haircut.
Yeah, I guess someone remembered she exists.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Tom King did by the end of his run, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Oof, remember when he set up a whole thing with her?
Yeah.
At the end of that first arc, and that was going to be a big thing.
There was a whole thing and with Duke and her, and and he just almost like he got sidetracked by Batcat stuff, Flashpoint Batman. Still, I wonder how much of that was editorial and how much of that was him.
Yeah, that's what I would ask. I would ask like how much of that was his choosing to go away from that, and how much of it was no, stop focusing on them.
Because it was Williamson that came in and did the co-writing to end the Gotham Girls stuff.
Yeah,
if you remember.
And that was rough.
Yeah.
So.
We have the next issue of Batman Superman World's Finest issue 2, and obviously this is not started yet. If you forgot what this is the Mark Waid book with Dan Moore on art.
Which is throwing in, more of the Doom. I think we knew the Doom Patrol were in it, but they're having them front and center on the cover.
I mean, Mark Waid's always struck me as one of those guys that loves a lot of DC and lots of corners of the DC like past the universe. So it doesn't surprise me that he's bringing something in. In this case, it's Doom Patrol, but. He
always has this view of the Silver Age, but he updates it very well. because this feels very much Silver Age Doom Patrol. This is not like the Morrison-y, weirdy one. You know, this is definitely Robot Man and the Negative Man, right? That's who's all wrapped up.
I assume so.
Negative Man, usually. Yeah.
Negative Man. I always forget what his name is. And yeah, the Calder up there. So
yeah,
this cover is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Dan Mora doing a great cover. I'm shocked.
I know. Yeah. So there's a few covers here to look at. Quite a few. Is that a Tim Sale cover that I'm seeing?
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Batman Beyond the White Knight issue 2. So next issue, the next White Knight miniseries is coming. So that's cool. The Hawk. They've done this every so often. This always throws me when they're not actually soliciting a reprint of something. They're just saying, "Hey, this exists, and you can go buy it." So this is both Flashpoint the trade and also the Flashpoint omnibus. They just both say it on sale now, and it's like, okay.
I think part of this is not for us reading these solicits now, but these are for when it's compiled in the DC Connect physical issue that retailers hand out to
that makes sense.
Customers. So they might flip through it and go, "Oh, could you order me one of these?"
I mean, don't get me wrong. I get that in a catalog, digital or otherwise, like having them right next to the Flashpoint Beyond issue 0 solicit makes a lot of sense. Like I get that. I feel like you could probably do that for every book though, but just not have it in this. Like when you're looking through like the customer version, almost every issue of every book should have a little box that has, say, "Hey, recommended background."
I get it, but I guess that's a lot of work. They don't want to do that all the time. They want to overload it. Whereas, hey, this is a new thing that's coming up. If you haven't read this, you might want to. It's kind of a hint as to, hey, get caught up.
Yeah. And they also solicit Flashpoint Beyond issue 1 as well, because we knew it was coming every other week, so it makes sense that the next issue is solicited here as well. Based on when it's starting. So that is cool. So just keep in mind that Jeff Johns writes issue 0, but then he is co-writing with Jeremy Adams and Tim Sheridan on the rest of the book, which is kind of a weird mix of names. All things considered, but we'll see how it goes. And then we have this caught my eye. I don't think we knew about this before. This is The Flash, the Fastest Man Alive, issue 1. There is no indication that it is a miniseries. It doesn't say one shot.
No, that was my first assumption was one shot. But...
Yeah, because it's bigger. Yeah, it's like a 48-page book. This first issue, but it's a Barry Allen Flash story, and it says. And the lead up to the hotly anticipated blockbuster The Flash, so it's still tying into the movie a little bit in terms of marketing. But it says after Barry's adventure with the Justice League, he's determined, and it goes on. It's a story about Girder, sorry.
Is this supposed to be continuity with the movie? Like, is this a movie version of Flash?
Is it? Yep, I think so.
Okay, all right.
So because if you look, that's a Batfleck looking Batman. And the Flash looks very much like Ezra.
Would it be Batfleck though? Because the movie's going to have Keaton.
This is post Justice League.
Oh sure.
So this is that version, right?
So
before the movie.
I mean, I thought this was them trying to launch a second ongoing Flash book that was Barry.
I did too, and then I read that, and then I looked at the art, and I was like, "This is clearly meant to be Ezra Miller." So
yeah, there's no variants to give me a second thingy. But
I think if it was a new book, there'd have been a separate announcement about it.
Probably.
Like someone would have written articles about it. We'd know, and I haven't seen any.
It's a bit weird just how much they've dumped it in the solicits like this, though. But there's no fanfare for it or anything.
The next thing,
kind of like the movie.
I would say the next thing, which is more explicit in what it is, maybe leans more towards that this is a movie tie-in.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So next up, we have Earth Prime issue 1 and 2. And this is by Natalie Abrams, Kelly Larson, and Camrus Johnson, with art by Clayton Henry, at least on issue 1. Issue 2 has Tom Gurmett and Norm Rapmond on art.
And 3 different names writing it as well.
Oh, 3 different. I didn't even realize. I just saw 3 names. Thought, they must be the same 3. Spinning out of the CW shows, Earth Prime continues the adventures of your favorite heroes from the small screen. That's the first line of the solicit text. That's probably all. I would say
the next sentence is maybe just a bit more context for people who are interested in the book.
Sure, but I think for most people, that part is all they need to hear before they know if they're not interested.
Yeah.
So I think that's more. But yes,
for me, I definitely might check out the Superman one, but I don't know. I haven't watched any other CW shows in a very long time.
Yeah, so each issue focuses on a different character from
a different series entirely. Yeah. So this first one seems to be Batwoman.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's maybe got 3 stories in by, all Batwoman show stories, but maybe that's why there's 3 writers.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's 48 pages each issue, so yeah, it makes sense. It would be 2 or 3 stories.
Because the second one makes it sound like there is at least 2.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And maybe this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I think the cover for that Superman issue is pretty bad. But
I quite like it. I think, and also it's very clearly Tyler Hoechlin's Superman.
Yeah.
Even with the heavily stylized art that it is, it's very clearly that take on Superman.
Yeah. It's a little bit nightmare fuel for me, to be honest, but
I think it's fine. I wouldn't go out of my way to pick up that cover, but I don't think it's, oh boy, I just scrolled down and saw The Boys. Okay, that's nightmare fuel. I just had it on Lois and Clark, and then I saw the 2, and I was like, oh boy. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and as far as like making it like those versions, I will concur that the shadow on his face and stuff does make it feel like his Superman. I don't think I've ever seen Lois on that show have a headband. So so there's at least one detail that feels a little bit like, I don't know, from a different era of Superman, but hey ho. Next up, Wonder Woman 786. This is part 5 of the Amazons, the Trial of the Amazons storyline, which obviously leads into Trial of the Amazons Wonder Girl issue 2, then Trial of the Amazons issue 2, which I presume is the finale of the whole thing. So,
final chapter of our crossover.
Yeah, I'm a little dreading this just because I don't know if I want to read it all.
I'm not sure I'm going to. We were kind of saying this before that, okay, well, not so I've been enjoying Wonder Girl that much. We were dropping it, although it's kind of cancelled now anyway, so it's a bit moot. But we've not been reading Nubia, and Nubia seems to be where most of this is being set up.
I don't
know. I mean, I don't know if you guys read Wonder Woman this week. The backup.
Not a backup. No.
Yeah. The backup's doing a lot of the setup too.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if because the first issue is going to be Trial of the Amazons issue 1, presumably. Ooh. Maybe I'll be tempted to try that and just see if I like it. And if I don't get into that first issue, then I can call it there.
Yeah, that Babstar, that variant looks pretty cool.
Which issue is that?
It's the Wonder Woman 786.
Nice.
Oh, maybe that's Travis Moore. Hold on. I just got all confused. Babstar's on the other one. Whoever's the second one, where it's got Diana as the eagle, and then you have the lion, the wolf, and the jaguar.
Yeah.
I think cool. On Wonder Woman image.
The variant cover is Paulina.
Yeah, I think that's that cover that you're looking at there.
Yeah. So here's the big bit of news this week. Actually, now we're in this finally. Justice League 75. So Joshua Williamson's taking over Justice League.
Well, kind of.
Well, kind of. At least for a story here.
Well, no, for an issue.
Oh, sorry, for an issue. Well, let me read the bloody thing. Justice League 75, right? So it's actually funny that this came up because just last week I tweeted that later this year it's going to be 30 years since the death of Superman, and I actually tweeted that with a little not because I thought they were going to do something in Justice League, but I actually thought, maybe something in the Action Comics story is going to kind of like call back to Death of Superman, thematically or something. It'd be a nice kind of like, this time he doesn't die, kind of triumphant moment or something. I don't know, but that's coming up. I think that's like October, November is the actual anniversary month. The Death of Superman from 1992, But funnily enough, this week they announced Death of the Justice League, and Williamson was doing press for it, and he talks about how it's no accident that it's issue 75 because it was Superman 75, obviously volume 2 of Superman, issue 75, where the actual death happened. So he's claiming that they're going to kill the Justice League, and they are dead, and they're going through with it. All the art and images they showed in these articles and interviews implied 5 deaths specifically, from what I could tell.
It's the variant cover as well, if you just the next one.
The coffins,
the variant cover's hilarious, though, just because it looks like, because of the perspective skewed a bit, right? So it looks like they're just hanging out with propped up coffins, Weekend at Bernie style.
Do you know what? I'll say this before I read out the solicit text or we speculate or anything. The inherent instinct I have, outside of the idea of like, well, I mean, we're not cancelling Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Superman. Although, to be fair, Green Lantern like has other Green Lanterns that can be on that book, so it's whatever. Not that it's Hal that's dead, because Hal's on the image, but
it's
that'll be John.
It's John. Yeah.
Is it John? Yeah. Well, that makes sense because he's the one that's been on Justice League.
He's dead to us right now, anyways. I'm not reading that book.
That's mean. But I mean, typically, like my excitement, if they're going to do this for a while, right? Because let's face it, they're not dead forever. They're never going to be. But is like, well, who's stepping up to take all these mantles on for the ones that need mantles being taken up? And obviously, we already have John for Superman, right? He's even in the image.
John, yeah, you know? you got the whole Bat family for Bruce.
Yeah, we got tons of Bat characters.
Yeah, you know.
And I knew Aquaman already.
Yeah, it does thrill me actually to see like Steph, Cass, along with the Robins on this cover. Like it's nice that they're all kind of counted in the potential, And
the Metal Man hanging out in the back.
Yeah, but you've got like all most of the Green Lanterns. I couldn't help but notice though that there's no Guy. We got Jess and Kyle and Simon and Hal.
Someone
but no
has
Guy.
to be protecting the world while they're having the funeral.
No one invited Guy because they don't even want him at a funeral. Right?
He's busy.
He'd bring
busy doing his job.
He'd bring down the tone. So yes, obviously the big headline, the main cover is literally just big bold text, "Death of the Justice League" on black, and there's some image inside the text, but it's black with just the big bold text, "Death of the Justice League."
It's very Alex Ross-esque.
Yeah, so I'm going to read. I'm just going to read the actual solicit text for this, right? So this is a 48-page special-sized issue. It is listed as the final issue. Oversized special issue. Superstar writer Joshua Williamson pens the beginning of the next big DCU event. So the fact that this is leading into an event is no surprise either. I suspect if they're going to actually treat this like a big deal, it makes sense. It's going to lead to something, right? It all starts here. A new dark army made up of DCU's greatest villains has formed on the edges of the multiverse. The DCU's best and most powerful heroes are pulled together in an epic war to push the darkness back. But in the end, they are no match for it. That's right, you heard it here first. The Justice League are killed by the Dark Army. Where's Bruce Campbell? Where's Ash to take on this horde? The Army of Darkness can be defeated by Bruce and his boomstick.
This is my boomstick.
So there's only one survivor to warn the remaining heroes of Earth of what's coming for them.
My God.
I mean, given that the Flash is on the Justice League, he doesn't have a coffin, I'm going to guess Flash, but sure.
You're wrong. It's definitely Guy. That's where he is. He's too busy.
I mean, there's no Hot Girl coffin. I don't know. Is Hot Girl still active in the Justice League these days? I've not been reading that. Matt, you've been keeping up with the Bendis.
Hold on, let me see this issue that's
Black
been
Adam.
here for like a month.
Technically, you could count.
Hot Girl's still there on this cover from issue 69.
It's interesting.
Nice.
What's funny, because Barry's already kind of in a precarious position, right? Because, I mean, let's face it, the reason why Williamson is doing this is presumably because Justice League Incarnate, well, it might not be essential. It's definitely going to, I think, lead into this in some way. This Edge of the Multiverse, that line in particular really sticks out as being, it kind of feels like whatever he's doing in that book is ultimately going to be relevant to this. And I suspect that, Barry might already in some way be either taken out of the picture or screwed, and that's why he's not one of the coffins here in the same way. Maybe he does survive. Maybe he is the one witness, like I said. But so the coffins are Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, presumably John, and Superman. What I will point out before we speculate anything here is that someone asked Philip K. Johnson on Twitter if this in any way was getting in the way of like his Action Comics run. Is it altering things? Is there any reason to be... And he just responded with saying, everything's happening as it was planned. It's all part of the picture. So, something to that effect anyway. So it was basically like, even if...
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Either we're going to ignore it and they'll just be at different times, or it'll somehow miraculously play into it and that'll be kind of genius in its own way. Either way, don't worry about it. But he's not having to change things and be like, no, I have to change everything because they're doing this story.
It just... This whole Death of always I've read comics a long time. Nothing feels real, ever. Because that was kind of the point of Blackest Night.
Do you know what's funny is that part of me's thinking, there's no way they're taking Bruce away from Batman. And then I'm thinking, Williamson's writing Batman, though. He's actually the one who could do it.
Do you know what annoys me most? Because it's not the concept of the story. Like, yeah, sure, it's hard to get too worked up. It's, they'll be back. It's just a story, right?
Yeah.
What I really hate is why. Why do they have to be like this with why do comics have to be so?
Why did they tell us?
No, not even that. Although, sure, I get that, but that's just publicity marketing. Yes. Don't get me wrong, I'd prefer the surprise, but sure, I can live with that. Why are you explicitly starting a story, in issue 75 of 75 of the Justice League book? No one is going to think, I might pick, if they're not in the know, no one is going to go, issue 75. I'll pick that up. It's the final, it's the final issue, and then go, and now it leads into this. Like, no one's going to know that.
I guess the idea is that a lot of people buy death issues regardless if they're reading the book, so they're kind of playing on that a little bit.
Maybe, but you could have called this Death of the Justice League issue 1 or 0 or Alpha if it was good, if that's going to be the name of the event. I'm no idea if it is. Obviously, wild speculation. In fact, I suspect it's probably not. Otherwise, they probably would have done that.
Well, it's what I said earlier. They specifically wanted the Death of Superman parallel of being at issue 75.
Right. I get that, but that is a weak reason. There's a weak reason to.
I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying that is like what they're saying. That is
no. I know they're saying that, and I get that that's their justification. But I think it's just annoying, especially in a time where over the last few months, especially on like Twitter, you'll see people like, how do I read comics? And then it's like, well, especially this issue, then that issue, then it goes to this, then they're in that, and then it's parallel with, well, how do I read manga? And it's like, start volume 1, bro. That's like the meme that's going around, right?
Yes, but then I would respond to that with, why would you want to read manga?
Irrelevant.
Check-in, mate. So
irrelevant though. Why do they do
After
this?
Connor makes his point, I'll share a thread that I read.
It's just why. Like, there is no need for this to be this complicated, and it's not complicated to us because we're in the know. We follow it. We go, sure, it's 75, and then it's just one issue, and then deal with somewhere else. But for anyone who just is a casual thing, and the people who this stunt is aimed at, that's just annoying.
We are used to this shit, and there has always been this kind of learning curve to comics. It's always been this way. There's so many stories that start at issue,
right,
592.
It's always been that way. Doesn't mean it should continue.
I'm not saying it should. I'm not saying it should. But I'm saying that for us, like, we are past that learning curve, and obviously have been for some time. And I'm not saying that new people should have to go through the learning curve, but even if they do change things now, like, all the stories that are still, that have already been that way are still going to want to be read, and we're still going to have to deal with it in some capacity. Now, admittedly, it doesn't matter as much because they're all in trades and stuff, and as long as they name and number trades, which they never used to do. I want to make this clear.
Yeah.
When I started reading trades and I started reading DC Comics and I was trying to read Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, I had to research what the order was of the trades.
Mm-hmm.
That should not.
There were entire websites and Tumblr, blogs dedicated to this is the order for this book.
Yeah. And obviously, yes, it should be made easier. It should. This would be better if it was just a one shot. I agree. Like, I'm not disputing that. But the point with issue 75, I don't think it's going to stop it from selling, because I think they're going to have posters. They're going to get comic shops to market it and pimp out and say this is the start of DC's next big event, and people ultimately won't care that much. It's ultimately only going to be brand new people who have never read a comic book really that are going to think, but 75.
That's the problem is that's the thing that this is aimed at. This stunt is aimed at those people who have not really read much comics, if at all.
Yeah.
This big poster that you can slap up, it's aimed at them.
Do you know what I think smart about this as a story idea, though? If it is going to be a case of like all the next in line sort of step up, so you have, I don't know if it's going to be Dick, sort of not necessarily becoming Batman, but just the idea that Nightwing's going to like step up and be kind of like the Bat representative, in charge. Sure. And you got John as Superman, who's already there. You got Wally, who for us obviously we can kind of consider Flash anyway. But having all these people sort of like rise up, all these characters, I think it's smart that if you do draw in new people because you're marking it as the death of the Justice League, you're effectively kind of almost backdoor piloting to these new people all these newer characters, or characters that they have considered lesser or don't know. And maybe by the end of the story, if they stick around, they'll care about Jackson, they'll care about John, they'll care,
Is there anything about that sense, which I don't know, I agree with everything there.
Yeah.
Is there anything about that doesn't function exactly the same if it's a one-shot with the same title instead of, like it called Death of the Justice League?
I do believe I started that point with as a separate point. That was nothing.
Okay.
Nothing I said there was in conversation with the previous statements made.
I retract.
It was a new positive point I was making about the story.
I did not realize we'd moved on.
All right.
Apologies.
Well, that's nice. They'll hear that often. Matt, what thread did you?
No, my point you already hit on it was about it. It's not geared towards us, right? There's a whole thread that I read from people that go into comic shops but not regularly, and they see this, and it's why Batman sells, because people can just go in and go, well, I want to read a Batman story, and those are all pretty carefully curated, right? But that's why they do this type of stuff. So like Death of Justice League might be a jump on, right? And then people get introduced to the next generation, and there happens to be, a John Superman book right now. Nightwing's really hitting. There could have been a Wonder Girl until it got canceled.
I suspect when this was in the works, that was planned to continue.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think that's maybe why, because obviously we speculated that the announcement, it's like, oh, there's more plans for Wonder Girl in the future. There was definitely, okay, well, that's just another ongoing book, or they're going to do a series of minis because it gives Joelle Jones more time, or whatever. I still do think, though, the idea of like setting up like a successor is still there, even if that book is not going to continue as it was.
Yeah, so, you have the Aquaman stuff going on, too. We're not reading it, but it's there.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, it kind of feels like this is just one of those times where, like, one of my favorite Justice League teams was James Robinson, and it was all just a bunch of, not A-listers and Dick Grayson, on the team. So, and it was real fun. So,
I mean, the fact that we have Tom Taylor writing the Bat and the Superman equivalents of this, new generation,
right?
Puts them in a pretty good place. Get into this,
and they're selling really well, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
It's not just critical; it's also sales. So,
which is annoyingly the most important aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
For no matter how good something is, if no one's reading it, then DC aren't going to publish it.
And the beautiful thing is that while this is all happening, like Johnson's Action Comics is so separate. Even if it does tie in eventually, like it's still that run's still going as it was planned. So
it's starting to feel like that's almost on the levels of like the Azzarello Wonder Woman at the start of 2, where it's doing something. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be more relevant in the end than that was, but yeah, I see what you're saying with it being separate. Because I think like ultimately once he does come back, it will be like he's returned and what happened.
This has more of a start and an end that are more relevant to the wider universe than that book did, I think. But for the most part, the bulk of the story is just, we're gonna go off and do a thing.
Yes.
See ya.
So, I mean, and let's face it, I mean, Death of the Justice League, I mean, that's what they're calling this issue. That's not whatever this is leading to is not going to be called that. I don't think.
Yeah, no. It's also funny too that on that one variant cover, there's only the 5 coffins, but if you keep going through the covers, you are missing Hot Girl and Black Canary and Great Arrow.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it's worth
Zatanna,
mentioning. There's a nice cover where there's like a kid looking up at like it's like Times Square-esque, screens, and you do see a Flash like cowl on the ground. So maybe there is a dead Flash. I mean, maybe Barry.
Yeah, if you keep going, there's like a monument statue in like a graveyard.
They're all on there.
Yeah, who is missing?
Yeah, Green Arrow's on there as well. Yeah, you're right.
Martian Manhunter's on there.
Yeah.
Is that Cyborg on there? On the left?
Cyborg. Oh, that's on the left. It's Cyborg. Who's the other dude on the sort of middle, just above Batman?
That's Green Lantern, I think, judging by the chest.
Oh, you're right. Okay. You look kind of bald, though. Is that Lex? Is his Lex?
No, it's John.
Oh no, I can see that now. You've said it, but at glance, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really see the Green Lantern emblem. It's that like an angle? Yeah. It's just like a circle.
It is, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's meant to be.
Yeah, but probably. Oh yeah, he's not anywhere else in the.
So who's on the team that's not part of that statue? Maybe they're just trying to keep it secret, and they're all on there.
Right.
Yeah, this could just be like variant rules where it doesn't matter that it's not 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But technically Black Adam.
Who's at the funeral, so maybe he's not there.
Yeah.
I'll just say Black Adam or Naomi.
Right.
I love the idea that Black Adam comes back and says, "Oh, this is a big threat," and the rest are just like, "I survived miraculously. It wasn't me though. I swear. That wasn't me. I didn't kill them."
Are you sure?
To be fair, Black Canary's not on that.
Oh, yeah, that could be a good shout.
But no, and that is Cyborg. Right there. So, and Cyborg's in the other one too. So.
Yeah, we said that. Yeah, we said Cyborg was there.
Yeah. I was looking at the other covers.
Yeah. And there's another cover actually with Zatanna on it.
Yeah, that's the one I was referring to. That's the Todd Knock.
Yeah. And obviously some of these covers are quite nice, not surprisingly.
Yeah.
So
DC tend to have a good stable of variant artists at this point.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I think it's good timing as well. This is out in April. You suspect the event will start in May or June, so it's nice timing to sort of lead into the summer.
Yeah, I'd say on a puzzle in regards to the actual story, I think personally I'm less excited because I've not been super hot on a lot of Williamson's team stuff. Really, I didn't really love the event Infinite Frontier. I bounced off of Justice League Incarnate, and again, those things all seem to be building towards this event. So it's hard for me to get that excited because I've not been reading those really. But I don't know, maybe this issue will turn it around.
I'm curious to see what he does. I haven't had decent enough time with it. I do suspect that. I feel like I do feel like right now, just like Incarnate is intentionally kind of a smaller miniseries that obviously is leading to big things, but feels small in its own scope.
It feels small now, but also like it's probably going to be a relatively important piece of the puzzle in the overall tapestry of Williamson's story of whatever he's telling over these few years.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how much of it is important. Like if you just know that Barry got trapped by Darkseid, and like because I imagine the end of Justice League Incarnate might be like revealing who this big villain is, who's on the outside of the multiverse, and that'll be kind of like leading into
when does that end?
I mean, we've had what 3 issues of that, maybe 4.
Yeah,
so it'll probably end 3. In March or April.
Yeah. The Great Darkness.
Yeah, I don't think there's one in this Solicits.
There's not, so it must be March.
Must be March. So again, nice timing in terms of how it's spacing everything out. My hope would be, I'm not necessarily expecting this, but my hope would be to do a thing where they're ahead on this, like whatever the actual event book is, and the event can maybe come out 2 a month or something, so that it's not lasting 7 months kind of thing.
I'd say it's possible, given that we've got the other one that's going every 2 weeks, right? And we've just had the Tower. We will have had the Tower every week at that point. So yeah,
it would be nice. It would be nice if it was a bit more timely, just to because I think it feels more like an event when you get through it in a more reasonable time period.
It does. It feels weird that they're going to be publishing 2 events like simultaneously, though, right? Because they'll have the Flashpoint Beyond.
I mean, is that an event?
I'm expecting tie-ins, so
probably.
I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe that's not really an event. Just the publishing schedule being, every 2 weeks, it being Flashpoint. I'm expecting them to treat it as such, but I could be wrong.
I'm definitely more excited for this than I am Flashpoint Beyond. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I guess I am too. Although, yeah.
How are you feeling, Matt?
It's fine. It's hard to get excited for something like this when I only have that little bit to go off of. So,
yeah, we don't know what the story's going to be, but
I don't know what the stakes are actually going to be. It doesn't seem like it's actually stuff that's sticking, especially with the fact that as you keep going through the Solicits, it seems like every other series that features one of these characters that apparently dies is still going. So.
I suspect we'll have more to talk about this next month.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, we could get to maybe not May, but like June Solicits, and it's like, oh yeah, all the books that had these characters who died are changing significantly because of it.
Right, and if that's the case, then I'll be able to talk about excitement or lack thereof.
I mean, I don't necessarily need it to affect the other books though. If it's just a good story on its own.
Would be affected because I don't like Flash wouldn't, because that's Wally anyway. Batman, yes, would, but I mean. Williamson's behind that anyway.
Aquaman. They're going out of their way to set up, Jackson and Aquaman working together.
It's mainly Wonder Woman. I mean, John is in Green Lantern. He's like one of the main characters in that, so that would change. But
with Wonder Woman as well, though, we don't know Trial of the Amazons could end with some major change in that book anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, which is that's just reaffirms the point I'm making though, which is that I don't really need it to affect a lot of books for it to feel important.
But I also feel like it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's that important as of yet because I have no context for it.
Until it impacts other books, it's just kind of its own random thing.
Well, not even impacting the other books. Like if this is like a huge big threat, right, and that's what Williamson's kind of building from Incarnate, and if that's what's bleeding over this whole Dark Army or whatever, then I feel like there's some stuff going on there. But as of right now, it's some shadowy group called the Justice League, maybe, and we'll see. I'm definitely gonna read it.
Obviously, I mean, I think it's just a case of how they treat it. The fact that they gave it this market unveiling, they've given it this big, start cover. I'm sure they're going to promote the shit out of it. I'm sure it's going to be one of those things where maybe they'll give out pins to comic shops to give out or something, like something stupid like that. Like, it feels like one of those types of things that they might really try and milk for everything it's worth.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like the biggest. I mean, not including Doomsday Clock was kind of weird and separate, so that's kind of on its own weird league. I would say this feels like the biggest event since Death Metal. This feels like not the follow up to Death Metal, but it's the follow up in the sense that it's the next big event that we'll think of as the big events in DC Comics.
I think that's probably fair. Although, if you could have said that exact same thing about Infinite Frontier before that started.
We could have speculated it, yeah.
I think we probably did say something similar along those lines. This is the next big event in DC.
Yeah, in hindsight, I would say that's not there, but although now it's more clear that is a prelude to this.
Yeah, it's just a part of this story ultimately, right? That's the start of the story.
Yeah, so there you go. So then there's some trades and things in the solicits here. I'll just quickly go through. We got Justice League Volume 1 Prisms. This is the first Bendis trade, which you can't have that many trades. He was on the book that long ultimately because he's just wrapping up soon, isn't he?
It'll be 2 or 3.
Yeah, some of that. Naomi Season 2 Issue 2 is coming out in April, so that's there. Sandman Universe Nightmare Country Issue 1 by James Tynion IV with Lisandro Estherren. Oh no, I probably butchered that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
People are excited for this. I'm happy for them. I don't understand it, but I'm glad they're excited for it.
What do you not understand?
I don't get. I do
have a question though.
The hype.
Okay.
I have a question before you talk about the book itself. Wasn't Tynion supposed to be done with new books?
I can again, because I'm a sucker who pays for his newsletter. I can give you context on this because he did send out an email about this. Basically, he'd made that decision. He doesn't want to do any more creator-owned stuff. And then Chris Conroy, the editor, who does a lot of the Black Label stuff.
So you mean the opposite, not creator-owned stuff?
Yeah.
What did I say?
So you say that you don't want to do any more creator-owned stuff, which I feel is the opposite of what you mean.
He doesn't want to do a lot of work for hire.
Yeah, I thought I said he wanted to focus on creator-owned stuff, but clearly I didn't. Fair enough. Basically, Chris Conroy texts him, was like, so I'm setting up a new Sandman Universe line. I want you to lead it. And Town was like, God damn it, you son of a bitch. Basically, talk about how Sandman was like, the big comic for him, which is probably true to a lot of people of, this generation, right? Especially, creatives, around his age range. I mean, it is, that big seminal work that inspired a lot. So it's not surprising.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
This book, it's a horror book, basically, essentially. The last few books in the Sandman universe, the one, The Dreaming, they've all focused on the fantasy side of it, like inside the Dreaming. This is all set in the real world, barring some sections, and it focuses on the Corinthian. And the Corinthian is like this character created by Dream to go and be, the most awful of nightmares. Basically, it's supposed to, the idea was, he's a reflection to the worst of humanity, and just is this ultimate nightmare. Has some very good stories early on in Sandman to do with Corinthian. So this Lysandra Estherren is doing the main art for the book, but each issue will have a guest artist doing a nightmare section. So this one is Yannick Paquette, but there'll be different artists for each issue for that. He did say it should completely stand alone. For if you haven't read Sandman, it should still work, but I imagine it'll be better if you have, because that's continuity for you, right?
Right, what would we have next? So yeah, there's a bunch of Sandman stuff that they're pointing out here that's on sale soon. You got Sandman issue 1, facsimile edition, and then you got Sandman the trades, book 1 through book 4.
It's all of the that's all of the issues. It's basically the deluxe editions, but in the thick paperback format instead.
Right.
Yeah. So
528 pages for $35. That's
it's a bargain.
Yeah, that's a heavy. Don't drop that on your foot.
Yeah, all right. And then you got Nice House in the Lake issue 8 coming out, so that's cool. We got Ruby Justice League, the trade, I assume that is, and then a few trades here that again they do this every month now, where they highlight a few trades above the bulk of the books. Superman Son of Kal-El issue 1, Volume 1, The Truth. So that's the start of Taylor's run, of course. Midnighter, the complete collection. This is the Steve Orlando series.
Yeah, from late in the New 52, I believe that was. I tried it. It was not good, although your mileage may vary. People did.
Yeah, it's from the 2015 series, as well as Midnighter and Apollo, and plus stories from DC Cybernetic Summer and the Pride 2021. So it's kind of just a Steve Orlando Midnighter.
Yeah, it's just all the Midnighter stuff that he did. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us are fans of Steve Orlando on this show, but
maybe once upon a time.
But yeah,
I think he's probably a cool guy, So
well, it's not perfect, but like I've tried multiple of his books, and every time I just
missed me with his Justice League that I was stupidly excited for.
Yeah. So, Crushing Lobo, written by Mariko Tamaki. That trade's coming out. This is issue 188. I forgot that was her, to be honest. If I'm
yeah, I mean, people really liked that from what I heard. Like everyone who read it enjoyed it.
I just don't want to read a Lobo book. I mean, it almost doesn't matter who it is. Aquaman the Becoming, the trade for that's coming out. Teen Titans Go Undead? ? So that's coming out. And then we're back to the proper single issues. So Action Comics 1042, with the glorious cover of Superman jumping to defeat a giant beast monster thing.
This Federici cover. I'm so excited for Federici to be the main artist on this book.
This feels like a cover to John Carter of Mars. Yeah.
My only knowledge of that is the horrible movie that came out.
Yeah, but so just know that pulpy, gladiator stuff on a red planet, very much like that.
So cool stuff. Aquaman Green Arrow Deep Target issue 7. This is the final issue of this miniseries. That's kind of a neat cover. I mean, Green Arrow's a little bit weirdly skinny looking, but other than that, it's kind of a neat cover, like overall.
I really like the idea of it. There's just some of the details that have got that artificial sheen, like Green Arrow's goatee lying around his neck. It looks a little bit waxy.
Yeah, no, I agree. The splash of water, though, Aquaman under there, and like there's the line of water where it goes from being above to below, just looks kind of neat. Like, there's a nice concept there. Aquaman issue 3 is coming out. So all these Aqualine books, wrapping up or continuing. Batgirls issue 5 is coming out. I'm just having a quick glance at the cutesy covers that I'm not super fond of. Well, I like that third cover though.
Whoever they're fighting looks like they're in the House of Black, Pete. On that main cover.
On the main cover? Oh yeah, I can kind of see. Yeah.
Right, you got the horns and the red, and whoever this is supposed to be, I'm stupidly in still. I love a good Colt.
Yeah, it's what's funny is I think both the second and third covers there are both pretty cartoony, but the third one's way more appealing to me. Because the second one's a lot more, anime eyes.
The second one, this second or the third one rather is that's on my show. That's why.
Batman the Night issue 4, so that's cool. Batman Urban Legends issue 14.
Oh no, the question.
Can we talk about some of the stories in this, because there's some new stuff starting in this one?
There was something actually I did read separately from this. There's a new Birds of Prey being established in one of the stories in this, which is going to be led by Lady Shiva and Katana. Yeah,
that's what's in the solicit text here. That's pretty exciting.
Right. It's not Birds of Prey though, dude. That's more of an Outsiders thing.
I mean, Katana, yes. Lady Shiva has a lot of history with Birds of Prey, right?
But
yeah.
Well, yeah, but the last time we saw her with Katana was in doing Birds of Prey stuff. Birds of Prey stuff. I'm sorry, Outsider stuff.
I guess it depends who else is on the team. Just because it's led by them doesn't mean they're the only ones on it.
Yeah, true.
That's the weird thing, though. If like Huntress ends up on the team, I'd be like, why isn't Huntress the leader? she's the one who's like, she's the Birds of Prey senior here.
That Mostert cover is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Knees to faces.
So yeah, that's the notable thing coming out of that. But yes, there is a question story in there too.
Which means I might be reading Urban Legends a little bit longer than the next few issues.
So they get you.
Yeah,
very nice. Well, by giving you things that you like.
Just when I think something's coming to an end, they're like, but here's more. And I'm like, damn it, now I'm in again.
I know you said that as if it's a gotcha, Matt. I'm like, I don't know, just giving you things you like.
No, it is a gotcha. It's like, oh, I don't want this super long question. Okay.
Well, there's a Birds of Prey story. Oh, go on then. Yeah. Even if it isn't, even if it's not a traditional Birds of Prey team, there's not been a good Birds of Prey book in years anyway, so they might as well try this.
Yeah.
So, you got Batman Catwoman, issue 11. So that's finally nearing its end come April. You know, that's what it is.
It'll finish eventually.
Yes. Blue and Gold issue 8 is coming, which is full of quotes on the cover as if it's like a DVD for, you know, a movie that's been reviewed.
Streaming live or dead.
Yeah.
JLA's best.
Yeah, timeless epic, Rip Hunter. Killer, Harley Quinn. Do you know what? As a callback to Heroes in Crisis, which I don't normally want to be called back to, that's actually mildly amusing.
Yeah. Well, and also Super by Bibbo Babowski. Like,
sure.
LA's Best by Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Catwoman issue 42. Dark Knights of Steel issue 6 is coming out, so that's cool. Future State Gotham issue 12. We have Harley Quinn issue 14. I Am Batman issue 8. Monkey Prince issue 3. That is... Oh, is that not a miniseries? I feel like I've had
it's
this...
an ongoing.
Yeah, I've had this revelation before. I feel like I did this last Solicits.
This time last month. Yeah.
I'm excited for this. I like Yang.
Yeah, I've enjoyed some of Yang's stuff, but I feel like this might be kind of I mean, my favorite thing about Yang is definitely still New Superman. So I wonder if, you know, like some of that magic is going to rub off in this. And
yeah, it feels like he has a clean slate to kind of do what he wants, and you know, he's already having him interact with Batman and Robin, which should be fun.
Because the other things we've had him on have been a continuation of books he didn't start. You know, Batman, Superman, and Terrifics. And in both cases,
his Superman Smashes the Klan, like issue big thing.
Yeah, I need to read that.
Nightwing issue 91, which has a wonderful cover, might I add. It's really simplistic, but you know, it's one of those things where a good idea is just a good idea. So
yeah, that is a phone background for sure.
Oh yeah. So nice stuff. Good. One Star Squadron issue 5. What are you on geez at that?
No, it's hilarious that they're picking up trash on the side of the road. It's
they got the orange jackets on and everything.
Yeah, it's very Mark Russell, you know, like.
Does that bag say Lex-Mex, as in there's a Mexican food place?
I think it is.
Owned by Lex.
Purple and green in his colours. That M with the dots on in green. That's their bell.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not that a bell has anything to do with, you know, tacos by any means.
It does now.
But, you know, Taco Bell just existed long enough that we just kind of think of it. But the M looks like radioactive. It does not let me think food. It makes me think...
My wife would argue that Taco Bell is also radioactive. So, especially when it comes to the next day.
That's too much knowledge about Matt's toilet visits for my liking. Refrigerator Full of Heads issue 6, so that miniseries comes to an end.
Great cover.
In April. That is a good cover, you're right. Robin's issue 6. That is a disturbing cover, honestly.
I actually really like the cover. Obviously, we weren't big on the book. But I do like that cover.
Yeah.
Just conceptually.
Her name's Jenny Wren. Are we really? Okay.
Rogues issue 2. Speaking of good covers and books that are exciting.
Oh man. Also, I assumed this was going to be like a bi-monthly thing because it's the oversized prestige,
right.
But this was only solicited for issue 1 last month, right?
Yeah.
Sounds right. I mean, maybe just like got ahead. You know, you got ahead, and Leo Max.
It's very possible. I just assumed, like all the other Black Label books that do this, it would have been every other month, and it's not. It's a pleasant surprise.
I'm sure it'll only be to its benefit. I mean, I'm assuming by this cover they're sneaking into Gorilla City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, very neat. Scooby-Doo, where are you?
That looks like a chupacabra.
Issue 115. I love how because Scooby-Doo is owned by Warner Brothers and they have a comic book. Like every time we do these lists, it's just this random Scooby-Doo issue mixed in with everything.
I'm always glad to see it's there, though.
Yeah,
me too.
This is basically DC's version of Star Wars, is they have the Scooby-Doo issue every month.
Still $2.99 though. Credit to them.
It has to appeal to the kiddies, doesn't it?
I did try to read where they went to Joker's hideout with Batman, and couldn't do it. It's not for me. It's just not for me. It's fine.
Wonderful. All right. Then we have Suicide Squad Blaze issue 2, miniseries coming up.
I did brush over Suicide Squad 14 as well.
Oh, sorry. Quite right. So I did. I was like, everyone was upset about it though.
No, I know. If you're going to mention Scooby-Doo, I think we should mention Suicide Squad.
Looks like Superboy's been revealed to be Match, so that's kind of cool. I'm not going to read it still, but
I will say the Blaze book though, this Black Label book, does have a nice cover. I'll say that much.
I at first glance thought that was a Liam Sharp cover, and I don't see Liam Sharp's name attached to it, so I'm assuming it's not. But my God, it looks like a Sharp cover.
Aaron Campbell or Christina Kalita?
I don't know either one enough to know which one it is.
Yeah. No.
Superman Son of Kal-El issue 10. Yeah, not much to add, really. Although, that variant, he looks like... I feel like I'm getting an actor off of him in that variant where he's flying above the city. Like, I'm getting...
Who is it, though?
I'm getting someone specific.
I don't know.
I'm getting someone.
The hair is very Hook-esque, Pete.
It's very Hook hair, you're right.
Yeah.
Send John.
Maybe that's what it is.
Send John.
Send Kent.
Task Force Z issue 7 is coming out. That's actually quite a fun cover, to be honest.
Yeah.
I forgot that's not a mini.
It's ongoing, baby.
Same with Titans Academy.
Titans Academy issue 14. Yep. The Flash 781.
Which you should be glad to know it's back to Jamie Adams. It's just taken that month off where it's being grabbed by something else.
I'll be honest, I forgot I even had that last month, so...
snap.
Good point to bring up.
You got an Eclipso War.
So fun stuff. Joker issue 14, which is the final issue, which is not a surprise. We knew at least Tiny was done with the book at that point. So
yeah, there was always a possibility they'd have wanted to carry it on just because Joker sells, right? But
yeah, the Swamp Thing issue 12. That's a cover.
That's interesting too.
And then the second cover is the Liam Sharp cover.
Oh yes, that's very nice as well. Oh my,
that is ethereal.
That's all sorts of things. Wonder Woman Evolution issue 6 coming out. World of Krypton issue 5. So that's nearing its end, and then we're on to the trades and the books and all that. 100 Bullets Omnibus Volume 2 being the first one there. So I guess they're
just having a glance if there was anything notable. I guess Doom Patrol by Rachel Pollack is getting an omnibus at last because that's been notoriously uncollected, right?
That's cool.
So I just noticed in the Urban Legends Volume 2 trade, how many issues are they collected in those trades? Is that like 3 issues per book or something like that? Maybe 4?
Let's see.
Good question.
This has the Outsiders Future State story. So that was how many issues? 3?
Unless there's like separating the stories out and saying, okay, here's all like of these 2 stories in one book. Because it would be weird to, because those 6-part stories, it'd be weird to only give you 4 parts of that.
Yeah,
it's got a pretty hefty page count. A typical 6-issue trades, about 100, I think it's 144 pages.
This is 244.
Yeah, 244. So it's probably closer to like 10 issues worth of content.
Yeah, but not enough to be 12 issues.
Yeah, no.
I think
I don't think this has any of the 6 issues. I think these are mainly the 3 and 4 issue. Because it's got the Outsiders Future State. It's got Tim Drake with with the kidnapped friend.
So maybe
Azrael.
So maybe volume 1's just the 2-6 or the 6 and the 5 part for that first batch of issues.
I think it's interesting because obviously you have stories ending at different times.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're probably not collecting them just issue by issue. You're probably collecting them as here's this story and then this story and kind of lumping them together that way.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense. I just hadn't thought about it before, so I just saw volume 2 there and went, wait, how are they doing that? How are they splitting that up? Interesting. Doom Patrol by Rachel Pollack omnibus. I don't even know what era that's from.
I literally was just saying that was the notable thing. Every time on Solicits.
I was reading something else.
No, this is the one that was just after Morrison's run. This is the one that's notoriously uncollected and has been basically impossible to read. I mean, you can read it digitally now, but until recently, it's been a nightmare.
Does it have a fan base? Do people like it?
Apparently, it's absolutely loved.
Oh, good. Oh, excellent.
Universally, it's like, no, it took in a different direction than what Morrison did, but everyone loved it.
Okay, that's excellent stuff. Justice League New 52 Omnibus Volume 2. Oh my. I guess it makes sense. It is a John's run after all.
I appreciate them just calling it the New 52 Justice League run. There's no fancy name. It's not the Jeff Johns one. It's the New 52.
This seems like this collects the Dark Side War stuff because Tom King's listed there.
Yeah, it is. It says it's especially Forever Evil up to the end. Oh, there it is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, if you haven't read that Tom King story, The God of Light, go and do it.
That's pretty good.
That'd be my favorite thing he's ever written.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have minded them just calling it Justice League, the Jeff Johns omnibus, but at the same time, at least this is including some issues by some other people that are tying in, so it makes sense to have it be a bit more broad.